Good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Was I on time? Yeah, I was on time. It was still in the 15th minute. Don't start with me, Benji. Just trying to get booted right away, huh? Is a rivalry born? Hey, see, here's the thing about rivalries, Benji. They're always best when they are organic. And these guys are making it freaking easy to hate. But of course, so is most of the SEC when it comes down to it. You've had so many people from around the SEC that have just kind of hated on OU and then you toss in people like Mizzou and then the clowns that love Texas. And yeah, it's pretty easy. But I do think it could be a possible rivalry there, at least as long as Josh is around. He's out for blood, apparently. Out for blood. What's up, everybody? What's up, Chicken? Mars, Jams, and Benji. Who else is all in here? It's a little light right now, little light. Make sure you wipe your feet as you come in. Welcome into the show, everybody. Yeah. No, listen, I think it's a big one. I think it is. I think right now, particularly what you don't want to do is allow Tennessee to get, or I guess, a foothold in the SEC. You're going to play them for the first 2 years. You want to be able to win this game for sure, because winning in Neyland, if you can't win this one, is going to be tough. I think that, the Mizzou game, there's hatred there, but it's because they talk so much crap. But again, this is where you've seen everything that these guys have been saying from Tennessee as well. I'm actually up to, you got to see this crap on TikTok. See how many we ended up with all night. Good grief, man. Holy crap. 38,000 views on that video with all kinds of smack talk. I mean, all kinds. Good morning, Kimberly K. Calming yourself over what? What's the matter? No reason to get too wound up. Keaton Galactodon, what's going on, my man? This Tennessee big star defensive end has been non-existent. Yeah. Listen, I think that the opportunity that you have right now with some guys coming back, and it sounds like basically Jackson has said that Nick will be back, Nick Anderson, but the possibility of getting some of these linemen back like Branson Hickman, possibly Jake Taylor, big, right? It's big. And I think that because it does a few things, those additions, even if it was just Nick and maybe one of the linemen, which would be great, then you're still looking at a situation where, well, first of all, Nick is going to make it to where you cannot bracket up Deion Burks anymore, right? He's just going to make it how it is. And I think that if you're able to do that, then, you're going to get him on some deep routes. Plus, Nick Anderson provides you with a deep threat as well. He's got speed to go along with his size, but he can go and get those balls, and they're definitely not going to be able to double team anybody. And we're talking about probably the weakest part of Tennessee's defense is that secondary. I think that's all there is to it. Oklahoma by 10, says Caleb Stacy. Welcome into the show. Does it though? Because would you say that it's an equal match with Texas there, Chicken? I know that they have the ability to beat us most times, but yeah. I think so, Dakota. I think you're right on that. And welcome into the show, man. It's been a minute since I've seen you, I think. I think so too. Huh. Uh-huh. 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 I think you do have to give some level of respect to what Josh has done. But I also think that you have to point out the fact that they're not perfect, and they haven't been perfect since he's been there. They have to run the football. I can tell you that much right now. We're going to have Jake Crain on in here in probably about 30 minutes. Well, thank you. Yeah. We're going to have Jake Crain on here, and he's going to probably argue for Tennessee. In fact, everybody else is. And the truth is, I think that Oklahoma has to do some things in order to be able to win. But as we've talked about, when it comes to what Coach Venables does, guys, this is a guy who has pretty much wreaked havoc on young quarterbacks, especially, first-year quarterbacks, first-year starters throughout his career. He's going to try to force him into poor decisions. If you can stop the run, if you start off there, you stop the run. You don't allow Dylan Sampson to get going and get crazy. He's already got 357 yards on the season, but he also has 9 touchdowns. Oklahoma has only given up 2.2 yards a carry, and they haven't given up any touchdowns on the ground yet. So if they can continue doing that and slow them down there and make them one-dimensional, then he's in trouble. Then you're going to have him in trouble. These guys can win the game, but you have to do those things. There's no two ways around it. The offense, you have to hope that they continue to look a little bit better. Again, small increments would be great, but if you could see them take a significant step forward in this game, it's going to be helpful as well. Hey, what's up there, Will? Welcome in. Tennessee, you're a Tennessee guy. Okay. Well, welcome into the show. Oh, good grief. Yeah, let's do after World War II, Ben. Let's do after World War II. And here's the thing. Look, I don't want to be a sunshine pumper or too much of a homer. I know I pretty much am a homer in some respects, but I try to make sure that I'm talking about something that can happen, and it's got to be real. And the truth is, there's some things that Oklahoma has to do. But I don't think that the disrespect part, I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of disrespect that comes from I actually saw somebody yesterday on Twitter complaining about the fact that some Oklahoma folks or some of the people, Oklahoma fans on Twitter, were talking crap about Josh. And I haven't seen a whole lot of that, so I don't even know who he was talking about. But I kind of thought about the same thing that you just said. They're always trashing on them and everything else. The guys that you have in the locker room, players, coaches, the whole nine, and yet it turns around. You turn around and then they're giving all kinds of love to Josh and them saying they're going to blow us out. Josh not as good on the road. All his big wins have been except for the LSU win that they had a couple of years ago. I keep hearing about that one in TikTok. But I think, yeah, I agree. Tatum and Barnes. Yeah, man, it's I've been talking till I'm blue in the face about Taylor Tatum. He needs to be in the game. And yeah, dogging your own guys. Yeah, I don't think that look, yeah, and I think that's the worst part of it. That's the worst part of it, is that you do have a lot of these guys that are just, the expectation to have Jackson turn into, Baker Mayfield as a senior when he's just basically still a freshman. You know what I mean? He would be a red shirt if not that he had to come into some games last year. So to me, I feel like it is what it is. And we've talked about it a lot too, that, when it comes to quarterbacks, the red shirt really don't mean shit anymore. Anyway, he's a first-year starter though. So to expect him to play like he's a veteran, it's tough. It's tough, particularly when you don't have all your weapons in the house at that moment. and you're not running the ball great because, you know, well, and he's made some mistakes, but he's not that far off as far as anything is concerned. He's got more touchdowns and the same amount of interceptions as Nico has on the year. He has more rushing yards. That could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I mean, he's been better. He was definitely better last week. I like the way, you saw him kind of throwing guys open, throwing it before they got into their break, the ball's in there, as they're turning their head around. That's showing trust and just making sure that you're getting it out. And when you improve as much as you did on third down last week, that's big. Would you like to see him get some more deep balls? Yeah, because he can hit them. But you haven't, for whatever reason, they haven't went deep a whole lot, which I think is part of it. I think somebody just has already said that they kind of have limited their amount of shots, period. The couple of times that he has thrown them, you've had a couple of drops, but you've also had some big-time completions too. You just want to see more of it. I think you just want to see more of it. The offense versus your defense will be sick. Twan, you're not wrong, man. But I think, and that's the thing, if you can shut them down on the run, I love their chances. I love Oklahoma's chances, man. This is a defensive staff that has shut down lots of good quarterbacks. And whether they're veterans or not, but this kid will not have seen a single thing that Venables and then throw at him this weekend. What's up there? Fight on Natties. What's up, dude? Tennessee's Blue Chip Pod says Oklahoma's light on defense. Actually, we are the heaviest starting defense in the SEC per the film guy. Isn't the film guy from there too? What's up there, Collins? Good to see you, my man. Yep. Everybody kind of talking about him like he is a third year. And that's the thing. You're expecting a lot out of him is what I'm saying. And I think that we have seen improvements. The thought that he's just not the guy. What are you going to do? You're going to go with less experience. And I'm not saying that you don't get something a little different out of a guy like, that you don't look at, that you're not getting something else out of if you went to Michael Hawkins, right? He's got a lot more speed. Apparently he does have a cannon. We've seen it. But you haven't seen it really yet at this level. And the fact is, he could be just as, stumped as you've seen Jacksonville or whatever if the line wasn't looking as good. I don't know, man. I just think it's a tough trade to make, and you have to be really for sure that he's not your guy. And you could kind of ruin both quarterbacks if you were to go that way. It's a tough way to go. It's kind of a tough way to go. And I don't feel like that's where you are, though. That's the biggest thing. I just don't feel like that's where you are. It's not that I don't think that Michael Hawkins can do the job. I do think he can do the job. I just still think that right now, Jackson Arnold's your guy. He just is. They definitely need to do that. Yep. And if, and Caleb, that starts in one place. You may hate on the USC, but I hope Oklahoma keeps you close against Tennessee. I think that it's important that they do it. I think that they get out there and get some stuff going offensively early on. In the first few series, really, they need to get some points up. And that way you don't want to start off playing from behind. I think you want to get out there, get some points on the board, get the crowd behind you a little bit. Don't get them upset. And the crowd, it's going to be important that the crowd kind of does its thing too. But I really think that this game sets up better for Oklahoma than a lot of people are giving them credit for, period. They're talking about and even if you're talking about the defense, ranking 27th, those are such crap. I mean, we're talking about 0.2, 0.3 different things and stuff like, they're giving up 2.2 yards per per carry, running the ball. So that's huge, because if you can shut down that rushing game, which is the most important thing for Tennessee, make no mistake about it. You want Nico to have to try to beat you. If you get in that situation and you're able to shut down their running game, it's going to be a long-ass day for Nico Iamaleava. A long day. If not, it could be a long day for Oklahoma. You cannot allow them to run the ball and, successfully, or else that's where it all starts. I know they'll do some things with screens. They're going to try to get it out on the edges. They've got some playmakers, but you've got a lot of speed all over that defense. I love the matchup. I love the matchup for them, as long as they can shut down the run. What's up there, homegrown cowboy? What's up, dude? And by the way, Fight On, I would tell you that SC should dominate this weekend at Michigan. Oh, good grief. Don't start that one, though. He's got an elite arm, too, dude. They hadn't really shown much yet. I think you're going to see a lot from him. And he's actually, his numbers aren't as bad. They're not completing long passes. We know that. But I think a lot of that will open up. If you get Nick back this week, Nick Anderson, and it sounds like that's coming, I think that changes things up a lot, because we haven't really seen Deion Burks going deep. And you're seeing him bracketing and stuff like that and kind of doubling him. You're not going to be able to do that if you get Nick on the field, because if you do that, he's going to kill you. Mark's telling it like it is. No.
But the brand has finally returned. F*** your brand.
There's your answer. No, but as I said, we're going to actually have Jake in here. I'm sure he'll be arguing for Tennessee, but I do think, like I said, you've got some opportunities there for Oklahoma. It's not as one-sided as a lot of people are going to have you believe. And the truth is, Tennessee's not really good at winning big games. Coach was talking about it last night. They're just not known. And I'm not saying that I don't really think that you can put this on Josh as much as you put it on the fact that they just don't win a lot of them. Now, they did go on the road a couple of years ago. They got a win at LSU. That's big. And I think that they got a good quarterback here. But I know that LSU's defense wasn't as good as what you're about to see here in a minute. They haven't seen anything like that. And again, I don't think that Nico will have seen anything that Oklahoma throws at him. They haven't really done anything with their blitz packages so far. 9 losing seasons, 3-7-6 with only 3 AP top 10 seasons since 2001. Yeah, they haven't been great. But that doesn't mean they're not good, and because they are good and they've looked amazing. I mean, you can't really look. Here's the thing: they haven't played the greatest schedule, and even NC State, there's problems at NC State. That's clear. Something's going on there, and they're just not very good. But everybody's talking about that. So that's not anything against Tennessee. It's just a fact. So you're definitely not going to run into the same thing when you get to Norman. And again, playing in a hostile environment, the more hostile it is, the better, And with the way that Danny Stutzman is playing right now, guys, we were talking about the other day, give him the damn All-American honors now. He's in everywhere. He's diagnosing and finding, they're shutting everything down. And that's a big part of what Venables defenses have always done is the linebackers diagnose. They've got really good in the gaps. They're making sure that they're in the right places. He's able to kind of control that for the defense. And then that defensive line's starting to eat, folks. It's a big day. I mean, look, I like Tennessee's offensive line, but they're going to be coming from lots of places that they're not expecting them. That's for sure. Yep, you're right. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, let's just be honest about it. For the most part, you don't see a lot of people that are doing in-depth stuff. And the one thing I like about Jake Crain is that, yeah, I mean, you know, I think he's kind of an SEC guy, and he's definitely been one of the people that has his doubts about OU for at least right now. But I would tell you that they're actually one of the shows that I like, that they actually look at a lot of different things. They do. Now, I think that he's a little misguided on, he's going to talk about them staying in a base set because of the speed of that offense. The thing is that, you know, yeah, they're going to get out there and they're going to try to go fast. But that's the beauty of this defense, is that you're almost positionless in the back seven, and that between linebackers and safeties too. It just kind of is what it is. So you've got a lot of speed. They've built that defense on speed, and I think it's going to be a fun matchup. But I do think that, you know, go watch that. That was elite arm talent on display. Yeah, listen, if you don't think that Jackson has elite arm talent, he just hasn't shown a whole lot of it right this season. He just hadn't shown a whole lot of it this season. That doesn't mean he doesn't have it. But it's really easy for people to kind of, you can look at one thing. You can look at one thing and try to pick at it. And I can pick scabs all day long on Tennessee or anybody in the country if you want to. You could do it with Georgia for that matter, especially right now. But does that mean that Georgia's not very, very good? No, I think they had a bad week. That's it. They have one of those just about every year. I'm not getting ready to count them out, but I do also think that Alabama is right there in it too. I think there's a lot of good teams in the country right now. I don't know that there's one team that I look at and I'm like, wow, should Ohio State be that? Probably. Are they? Have they been? No. So do you trust them? Probably not. But I think that the SEC is wide open. And Oklahoma actually has a chance to take care of everybody that's ahead of them in the preseason poll and in the polls all over. You know, as far as you've got they still play right now the number one team. God, I still want to throw up in my mouth over that. And then the 4, 7, and like a bunch of teams that are in the top 15. Okay. We'll see. Mizzou was 12th or whatever. Man, I got to get that. Actually, I can look at that. In our polls, and I need everybody to vote in this week. The poll for Hall of Fame. Oops. Let me pull it up here. So looking at ours, you've got, yeah. So it'd be the 2, 4, 5, 6, 8th. Shit. Not to mention LSU, which is right now 16th in our poll. Now, we didn't have as many voters as I'd like to have in it, but it's pretty close to what you're seeing out of the top 25 poll in the AP, with some of them that are moved up because we know that some people just vote based on teams or just who they are. Oh, I know that name. What's up there, Ryman Lehman? Good to see you, buddy. Zandria Eslick, Tennessee. Yeah, I saw that one a minute ago. Zofix, what's up, my guy? Jimmy Satterfield, good to see you guys. Is Texas really number one? Hey, listen, they are in the poll. They are in the poll right now. I mean, good for them, I guess. Do I think that they're better than Georgia? No. Do I think that they're better than Ohio State? No. Do I think they're better than Oklahoma? No, I don't. But they are good. And right now they've looked good. We kind of know why that is too. But that's, I think that no matter what, you're going to have to go through these guys. These are teams that you get to play if you're Oklahoma, and you get to prove it on the field. You don't have to worry about the pollsters. That's one of the things that I don't think that a lot of Oklahoma fans look at. They hate it that they're getting hated on. But the truth is, it doesn't matter what the hell they think, because you can go out there and prove it. And I think that this team is talented enough to beat everybody that they play. Do they do it on any given day, any given Saturday? Maybe, maybe not. We're going to find out a lot about him this weekend. I think we find out a ton about him. Yep, D-line versus their O-line. Being able, if you can make them one-dimensional, it's going to be a long day for Nico Collins. That's in the whole quality Wednesday. I'm just saying you hadn't played anybody. You're not going to have played anybody really until you get to the Red River. And then you got them and you got OU and Georgia in back-to-back weeks. That's when you're going to find out what we're going to find out about Texas. Our DBs are slow. Yeah, they don't watch it. That's what I just said earlier too, Chicken. That's the whole thing is that a lot of these guys don't pay as much attention as they want. And they can look at a stat. You can pick any little scab you want to. Stats are easy to like manipulate in your mind and, well, they didn't do this or didn't do that. And a lot of times the box score doesn't really tell you a whole lot about the game. If you just looked at the box score from Tulane, you didn't look at the score, you're like, shit, they didn't do anything. Well, they did, but they just had short fields the whole time, right? Was what it was, but I mean, they've definitely been different. Billy Benson, I don't think you're correct on that. I think you've got some guys coming back this week. It looks like you're going to have some guys coming back this week. If you do, things could change dramatically, and they've already been better from week to week. Look, that's the one thing, it's not a finished product yet. We know that. But can you tell me that it hasn't been better from week to week? Because it has. They've definitely, he's gotten sacked more than you want to see him getting sacked. But a lot of times, there's been other times that he's left a clean pocket too. So he's been getting better from week to week. The line has been getting better. It's a Bill Bedenbaugh line. They'll get it together. But if you end up with a couple, even just one of those guys coming back this week would be huge. I'm hearing there could be 2 to 3 that may be on their way back. If not in this week, then maybe next week for sure. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. And there's some different stuff that you can do if you're actually opening up the offense, which I don't think they were really trying to show a whole lot to anybody coming into SEC play. I think it's a little dangerous. And I think that there's some things that forced it to not look great either. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that this is a team without flaws, because I don't think that it is. What I do think, though, is that it also is a team with a ton of potential. It's got a lot of talent on it on both sides of the football. And again, if you just get a little bit better each week on offense and this defense continues to play the way that it is, you're going to be in every game. You're going to be in every game. You're going to see Sean Holiday. We're going to find out. Good morning there, my gun sweetness. Try not to be grumpy, he says. You haven't had your coffee yet? So they're right here. I gotta put them on that graphic, man. I just been busy with the other job, and I was struggling with that. But I can share them with you right here. Hold on a second. Where is that damn thing? All right, there we go. All right. Could you guys see that? Y'all can see that pretty good. Good morning there, Kyle. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you. Sue the Cowboys. Today is National Hamburger Day. If you order through the app, Mickey D's is selling 50-cent double cheeseburgers. It's good to hear. I'm broke. Till payday. No, haven't had it yet. All right. So what do you guys think? So obviously we got Georgia coming in at number 1 on our poll, but they have the same amount of points, just more first place votes. Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Miami, Missouri, SC, Penn State, Oregon, Utah, K-State, OU, OSU, LSU, Notre Dame, Iowa, Nebraska. Yeah, look, I don't love the Michigan thing. I don't think they're one of the best 25 teams at this point. I think they've proven that at this point, but we'll see. I think they're going to get drummed this weekend by USC. Clemson, we'll see if they're popped back. If you were listening to what, our guy was saying last night, Seawalt, he likes them. Oops, that ain't it. He likes them to be still not it. There we go. Okay. He likes them to still win the ACC. I guess they could. They got a good enough defense, but they're going to have to continue playing like that. Yeah, that's cheap, right? Yeah, thanks for the call. Yeah, that's good. OU and Tennessee could flip-flop. Yeah. They would shoot up the rankings. I think it'd be huge, and especially if you can listen, I think if you get the main thing you want to do if you're Oklahoma is kind of keep it close, but have a chance to win in the fourth quarter. You can do that. They've, it's been good. What's up there, Sooner fan 71? Jordan Dunn. I had no idea Tennessee fans were so annoying. Some of them are. Some of them, there's been a few that have popped in here and been okay, but I've had a ton more. Like I said, on that TikTok, I've got now, holy crap, over 40,000 views from that TikTok. And I mean, these comments are crazy. I've got over 500 comments. And they're just, I mean, there's some of them that are like, this game has me nervous. Some of the fans are getting it, right? But a lot of them are saying that they're going to dog walk them, coming in talking smack. It just depends. I mean, I would say that the majority of them. I don't know. I haven't gone through them all, but yeah, here. But it's far more likely the Vols win by a blowout than Oklahoma does. Nobody said that Oklahoma was going to win by a blowout either. Yeah, see, I can't even sit here and read these things. They're crazy. See, that's the one thing too, is in a game like this and in a situation like this, that you're right about that. I mean, I don't fake UT. That's funny. But to me, I think that they haven't really shown up in big moments. They just haven't. So. Trying to clown the stadium. What about it? What was going on in 2010? I'm trying to remember. Was that when they were adding seats? Yeah. What was the blowout? Who was that? Who'd they get blown out by in 2016? Trying to remember. Who's a mustard ball? Is that what happened again? Yeah. Anyway, I think that OU is going to find a way. I think they can win this game. I think they're going to win this game. I do. I think that the defense is probably going to, if they just shut down that run. And I'm not saying that you have to hold them to 2.2 yards per carry. It'd be great. But I think that if you can keep them no more than like 120, 130 yards, you're going to have a good chance to win, and especially if you can get your running game going. But I think that the offense is going to find a little bit of something this week, particularly in that secondary. Getting Nick back is bigger than people think. It really is. It really is, guys. Don't worry, guys. I tore a thing of my left knee training yesterday. Okay, maybe so. Yeah, sorry to hear that though. That sucks. I think that they look like they have a couple of guys coming back for sure. For sure, Nick is going to be back. I mean, Jackson let that out of the bag, but I've heard that as many as 3 of the offensive linemen could be back. I think for sure you get 1 or 2 though. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, look, and that's what, Benji wasn't wrong when he said, it's 3 games in, it's tough to really judge. I mean, that's the thing. You don't really know what you got. But we do know that, you do know this. He hasn't seen a defense like what he's going to go up against as a starter. They talk about that Iowa game. Iowa didn't score on anybody. And, the whole Big Ten doesn't score a whole lot. It's a bunch of freaking run teams. That's all they do, except for, now a handful of teams. But if even that, the rest of them just line up and try to run at you. So it's not that hard to be pretty good if you got big guys on the interior and stuff like that, which they do. And, I mean, when white dudes are out there in the secondary, no offense, Chicken, I know you had speed. Most of us don't have that. When they're out there killing it and being All-Americans, it's because they don't get thrown at. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely needs to be loud, guys. Definitely needs to, yeah. He's going to see schemes that he's not seen all year. Uh-huh. Yeah, and that was all base. Now, as I was saying, what Jake will tell you probably here in a minute is that because of the way that they try to speed it up. But that's the thing is Oklahoma has been going up against an offense just like that for the past 2 years. They've seen it a bunch, with the veer and shoot stuff that you're trying to go at a breakneck speed. Now, I don't know that OU's ever went at that same speed that what you're seeing Tennessee go at, but I don't know that that's always a good thing either. What's up there, Hankster? Good to see you, man. Do you think that's what that was? Sending a message to OU? I wonder how that coach from Kent State felt about that. Oh, really? Yuck. Political ads. Man. I wish they'd be reaching out a little more and giving us more cash to run them, I guess. Although I wouldn't want to do it. But defensive scheme. Texas would be the University of North Mexico if it wasn't for Tennessee and UT. Or North Mexico. Okay. That's too fun. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If he's trying to send, I mean, I'm sure. Thanks a lot. Send it. I'm sure that's what that coach was like. Fuck you, man. I would be pretty pissed about it. I'd be a little irritated about it. What are you guys thinking about? Yeah, listen, I think that obviously you've got you've got some opportunities. We'll talk some more about that as we go along. But what are you guys thinking about Billy Napier? We were talking a little bit about that last night. Obviously, where do you think he's going to end up? I mean, obviously, you think he's probably going to be fired. I think that's the consensus. Although you do keep hearing from the Florida athletic director that they may not let him go, but they always say that. I think he's gone. I think he's already gone, and I don't even know that it matters whether or not they win or not. This week, I think even if they win, I mean, Mississippi State. But I heard that Jeff Levy was actually somebody asked Jeff Levy in the press conference if he had lost the team the other day. Wow. And they've got a tough freaking they've got a tough schedule themselves, especially for being brand new. What's up there, South Texas? Thank you for the super chat. $2 doesn't get you but a couple of seconds, though. What's up, Billy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they've looked better so far in certain, yeah. But to be honest, though, I mean, they haven't, again, you can't really judge what they are. Yeah, they've looked good. You can only judge them by what you've seen from them, and that means that they've looked pretty good, right? Do I think that they're the best? Do I think that they're the best team in the SEC? No. Nope. I don't think they're better than Oklahoma, really, and I certainly don't think that they're better than. I mean, I don't know if they're. I think they're probably better than like Mizzou. I think they're better than LSU. Maybe Ole Miss. I don't know, but do they even play Ole Miss this year? Ole Miss doesn't seem to get anybody in the top of that league. Yeah, man, this is a big one, isn't it, Duke? What's up, man? Good to see you. Bishop Frank. What's up, my guy? Who's going to go to UGA as an advisor? What's up, Professor? Good to see you, man. Oh, he's already said they hadn't really blitzed any. They hadn't really had anything dialed up blitz-wise. They haven't done anything. They're going to open it up. What's up there, Seawalt? Thanks for coming on last night, man. We'll end up at Arkansas State in lieu of Butch Jones. Yeah. I could definitely see him ended up at Georgia working for in somewhere, he's either like I don't know, he's still got 26 million. He don't really have to do anything right now. As an advisor, yeah. Oh, are we really talking about the the Texas war with Mexico? Davy Crockett and shit? Hot damn, let's get into it. You guys are crazy. The driving advisor. Hey, man, I find it kind of funny, Professor, that because you were loving Billy for a while. You and Shelton, you guys loved him. Yeah. Ole Miss game is going to be a banger for sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, I can't wait for Saturday though either. I'm with you guys, man. It's going to be a blast. Love it that they're having, the college game day being there, great atmosphere. That's the other thing. I think that people are definitely discounting what it means to have to play in the Palace. And obviously, they were giving those guys, you kind of have to do that every once in a while. Got to let the fans know. And you know what it was? It was the damn student section that was leaving, man. To give those tickets to somebody else if you ain't going to be there. It'll be a nighttime game. This is what Oklahoma's been waiting on for a long time to get a nighttime game. It's going to be good. I feel you, man. You wish you were? Yeah. I knew what you were saying. I'd like to go to that one too. Oklahoma can lose to Tennessee, but what? But then if they go on to beat Texas and then upset Georgia, yeah, they would shit. Well, and I mean, because they're shitting all over OU. They have been. You know, everybody's wanting to shit on OU for whatever reason. And I don't really know what it is, you know. I think it was Pate was saying it was the stench of 6 and 7. The 6 and 7 year, whatever, man. The cupboard wasn't full for damn sure. And it could have been worse than that, really. They're beating Texas this year, bruh. It's happening. UM and Wisconsin. Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, that's the same shit. Oklahoma's won more football games since 2000 than anybody, and it's by a pretty healthy margin. It's just they're going to win. I think they're going to win the game. Again, Tennessee struggled since about that same amount of time, right? They just haven't done. Somebody had it up there in the top. They've had what 3 10-win seasons or 3 in the top 10 or something like that. They haven't been great. And that's the other thing is like a lot of these Tennessee fans that have been talking a bunch of crap. I had one jumped in there after the stream last night and was like telling me how dumb I was that because we were talking about the last time that Venables defense faced a Josh offense was when they beat the crap out of Oklahoma in that one bowl game and what was it, like 13 or 14, I think it was 14. Yep. Win and lose to the Vols just show that Tennessee, the world beaters that all saying they are. They're not the world beaters. They're not. I mean, I think they're good. I think they are good, and I think they'll be better as he gets older, you know, and gets more experience under his belt. But he's never seen anything like what they're going to throw at him. That's the thing that, I mean, I think if this is further in the year and you've seen more and you know you've got some stuff on film now and experience against a defense like this, then yeah, okay, maybe I give him a better opportunity to. But I think the main thing you do is you key on that run early, you shut it down, you make that happen, and he has to throw in like third and longs where you know these are obvious passing situations. They're going to be bringing wacky stuff at him that he's never seen. Disguising they hadn't done a lot of disguising of their coverages. They will be. Things are about to change a lot, and they've already been good out of the base. Yeah. I don't think it's as far off as you think it is, though, Kyle. I think they're going to be I've seen improvement. I don't know. I know that we're wanting perfection, but if you're looking, there is improvement from week to week, guys. There is. If they continue to just get a little bit better, and I'm telling you, Nick being back will be huge for them. And if you can, as these linemen start coming back, and like I said, I've been hearing that you're probably going to get at minimum 1, but I'm hearing 2 and maybe 3 guys coming back this week. You know, if that happens and they can start running the ball a little bit better, that's the other thing I think that you have to get your running game going too, because otherwise they're going to start sending their D linemen too. You got to do it. I think getting out and getting some points on the board early would be a big time, a key for that. Okay. We should have Jake in here pretty quick. He said he's hopping in just a second. Let's see. Well, there he is. All right, man. Welcome into the show from Crain and Company. He is. Oops, my bad. What's up there, Jake?
Man, what is up, dude? Sorry, just making the rounds this morning. It's I tell you, man, college football season goes so fast, dude. We're already in week 4. We wait. It's funny when I was coaching and even playing, it's amazing how fast the offseason went. Then you start covering it, and the offseason just slows down to a snail's pace.
Brother, I'm telling you, I thought this was the longest damn offseason ever. Just getting ready to go into the SEC,
Dude.
And so you're like,
for y'all, I bet. I mean, goodness gracious.
Dude.
I mean, it's like, knowing you're getting the car for Christmas. It just makes it take longer to get there.
Yeah, man. It does. It's just it was a long off season, but and then it's been kind of a crazy first 3 weeks of the season. You're kind of looking at some different stuff. I think they're getting better from week by week, and the defense looks really good. But we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But how you been, man?
Dude, great. We just hit 150,000 subs on YouTube, and obviously it's the best time of year. It's been kind of described week 1 as chalky in college football. Week 2 was hammered drunk. Week 3 was tipsy. I'm just interested to see what week 4 is going to be. I mean, are we going Breaking Bad week 4? Or is it going to be more, kind of, hey, let's chill, and why is everybody drinking a seltzer?
Right, no doubt. Yeah, in the morning and shit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that shower beer, nothing hits like that shower beer.
Nothing hits like that shower beer, bro. Nothing does.
Yeah,
man. So, what are you thinking about? What's going on with Billy? Is he out of there? Because you keep hearing the AD talking about, that he may not be. He hadn't said yet that he thinks he's going to let him out of there. But I feel like that always happens with AD.
Yeah,
right? He's got to be gone, right?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of when, not if. But we got to remember, we're living in a different era. Like, the minute you fire the head coach, the players can enter the portal for 30 days. Now, that doesn't mean that you can go from like Florida, and the next week you're playing at like Memphis or something. You're on the field. You've got to wait, obviously, until the year ends. But if you're the people in charge at Florida, this is what I find fascinating about it: is that do you wait for as long as possible and then make the move at the end of the year to give that new guy a chance to come in and keep DJ Lagway and Eugene Wilson and some of these guys, kind of like Bill O'Brien did at Boston College, right? Like right when Bill O'Brien got announced at the end, because they didn't realize Jeff Hafley was going to go to the Packers, right? Bill O'Brien comes in and nobody transfers. Or is it so bad that if you lose to a Mississippi State team that just got drowned in a small puddle of water by Toledo, are the optics so bad that you got to show the fans, hey, we're getting rid of this guy? So, man, it's an interesting thing. I do not envy the position that Scott Strickland and the people making the decisions over there at the highest level are in. But we are in a new era of the ability of the transfer portal and things like that. So if it was me, my gut is saying they're going to try and ride this thing out for as long as possible. But the worst thing that could happen, I think, and my brother brought this up yesterday on the show, is Florida win a couple games, maybe beat somebody they're not supposed to beat, which is very low probability. And then all of a sudden, it's maybe we hang on to Billy a little bit longer, and then you're in this same spot next year. I don't see that happening. But it's you lose to Mississippi State this weekend, dude. I don't know how
after them losing to Toledo, I don't think he'd make it till after halftime if they're losing that game.
No,
right?
it could be a tarmac situation. Like, I don't know if they're busting up there or what. It's either a tarmac or a parking lot situation. I don't know. Which isn't a tarmac, just a parking lot for planes, if we're going to be honest.
But kind of is. Yeah.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that assuming he's out though, and I mean, you have to, I would think, but I know I was watching you and Josh Pate last week when you guys were talking about this, and you didn't agree with him, but he was saying that Lane would take it immediately if they offered it to him. I know that you didn't really expect the same thing to happen. I think that he's high on their list from what we're hearing.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's high on it. Of course he'd be high on the list. Yeah.
I think it'd be hard to get the job. I mean, if he's in a playoff run, let's just assume they get into a playoff situation at least by the end of the year. They find themselves in the playoff. How are you going to get him to leave then?
Again, this is why we're in a brand new era that it's been extended to the point where, and the new signing day is in December. Like, don't tell me signing days in February. It's not. That's the late signing period.
Right.
That's for the few guys that can hang on, maybe the few guys that don't have grades or whatever. The new signing period's in December because guys want to get in and be able to play and go through spring. So, yeah, it throws another wrench in there. And it's not like the Texas A&M baseball coach going to Texas and telling them before the College World Series, hey, I'm coming, just don't say anything. As far as Lane, I think trying to guess what Lane Kiffin is going to do, regardless of what sources you have,
sure,
it's just tough. It's like trying to guess what Harbaugh is going to do. I think one person knows it, and it's Lane, and obviously his family around him probably does. But if you think about it,
he was going to go to Auburn, a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, some people thought he was going to go to Bama. Like, here's when you look at the situation Lane's in. Let's not forget, like, he was the youngest NFL coach ever for the Raiders. He's been the head coach at Tennessee. He's been the head coach at USC. He's done this big brand thing. He's done it before, and it hadn't worked out great, right? We know what happened. Tennessee going to USC, the way that ended. So you're in Oxford now. You're a hero. You've got that program operating at a level that, Hugh Freeze did it 1 year, once or twice. Ole Miss is here to stay.
You're up here. Yeah. He's been winning like 8, 9, 10 wins every year.
If you win 8 or 9 games a year at Ole Miss, you're going to be the greatest head coach in the history of Ole Miss. And then every 3 or 4 years, be able to make a run at it. And the way he's using the transfer portal, we'll see. Can you sustain that? I don't know. We got to see it over the long term. But why would you want those problems? Is Florida a better job than Ole Miss? Yes, it is, right? Overall, it's a better job than Ole Miss. But is it a better fit for Lane Kiffin? He's got NIL at Ole Miss. He's got everything he wants. He can do no wrong. He could kidnap the mayor's kid in the middle of everybody downtown, and nobody would say anything. And the mayor would probably get in trouble. So to me, I just don't. If I'm Lane, why? It's like Goldilocks porridge, right? The humongous brand that was too hot. Being the assistant was too cold. This porridge is just right, Jason. It's just right.
Are you sure? Because to me, Lane's got enough money. He don't give a shit about that. He wants to go somewhere that you can win and really win.
Look at Ole Miss right now.
I'm not saying that they're not in a position where they can't. We haven't seen anybody, though, that's been as heavy in the portal go and win a national championship. We haven't seen that.
No, not yet. Not yet.
And I'm not saying that it can't ever happen, but we haven't seen it happen yet. So to me, you could go get high school guys if you're at Florida. You're never going to probably be that high school. That brand isn't going to sell to high school kids ever on the level that somebody like even Florida is going to sell to them, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, but
be in that top 12 or top 15. And the thing is, when it comes to Lane, he's not a porridge guy. That sounds like a guy that's worried about having a job for a long time. He didn't give a shit about that.
Well, I'm using the analogy of the fit, right? I don't care if it's porridge. It could be like a, I don't know, wedding cake or whatever. Some high class, it could be what is it? A lobster bisque. How about we go with that? No, but listen, we're not living in the it's just about the brand era. Lane Kiffin's his own brand. High school players want to play for Lane Kiffin. He's one of the coolest guys in college football. And we're in the NIL era now. It's about money. Ole Miss and Oxford's got old money.
That
like
does.
old. They got a lot more money than what people understand. These kids, you think they just care about, it's Florida and look at the pageantry and the tradition. That's not what they're laughing at Billy right now. Lane Kiffin is the king of the castle and he's got a vault full of money. Why do you think they were able to get all these transfers? So if I'm Lane Kiffin, my brand is Ole Miss. It's bigger than Ole Miss. I'm always going to have a really good quarterback. I'm always going to have a really good offense, including an offensive line, because I run zone scheme. I run gap scheme. Our pass protection, you turn on the tape and the NFL scouts see it. So I don't think this is we got to stop acting like this is the 90s in recruiting. It's not. So yes, is Florida a bigger job than Ole Miss? Yes, it is. But you can win at Ole Miss, and they're going to start it this year. And I'm telling you, Lane Kiffin has got this place exactly where he wants it. And I think he loves where he's at because he can do what he wants. So now I'm going to go to Florida.
He doesn't have to worry about his job. That's for sure. But I don't think he's one to worry. I think that I feel like he's the kind of guy that might take that risk, and he may. But let's say he isn't. Let's say he's listening to you. You're advising him, and he's listening to you. Who are they going to go get then? Who's Florida going to get? Who's your guy?
Man, I don't want to fall in the trap of, and I talked about this on the show the other day, of saying, you know what, we're never going to hire a group of 5 coach again because of what happened with Billy Napier. I think the thing with Florida, and I get it, right? When you put your hand on the stovetop once and it burns you, you're a little nervous to put it back in the same place again.
Sure.
But I think it's more about the type of person. Yes, they're going to hire a good football coach, right? They're not going to hire somebody that's losing, right? Whether that's from the Power 5, whether that's from the Group of 5. I think Florida needs a guy that's kind of arrogant. Look at, I don't believe in fits geographically. You don't have to be from a place to only be able to coach at that place. I don't agree with that, but I think there is a identity that works the best at certain places. And all the guys that have had success at Florida are guys that are confidently arrogant. Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, Dan Mullen. I don't think they need some humble Eagle Scout, right? That's just behind the scenes guy. We're going to chop wood when nobody's looking. No, they need a guy that's going to come in there and he's a little bit older, but just there's a guy in Indiana right now named Kurt Signetti that fits that profile 100%. I think Drink fits that profile of not overly arrogant, but uber confident to the point of, damn it, we're Florida and you are not. I think they need that type of personality in there. I just know that cutting yourself off, because I've watched Group of 5 coaches do great in Power 5, and I've watched them fail. I've watched Power 5 coaches go to a better Power 5 place and do really good or fail. So I think it's more about the type of person that you're going to get.
Have a guy that can sell the program and isn't scared of anybody or anything. I think
for sure.
I think about when Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss, you know, and that was kind of who he was, and he could sell to a hot shot quarterback that might be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but stud receivers and just, you know, they were doing that there.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, so far you're seeing him kind of get that started at Auburn too. Although the quarterback
trying, it's just the roster. I don't think people realize how bad the roster was that he inherited. And he has missed at quarterback, right? I mean, we, at least so far, and you got to give Hank Brown a chance to see what he can do. But I think that the smart money is on, you know, I don't think this kid's going to end up being, you know, an elite player this early. He may down the road, but it was a foundational build at Auburn.
No doubt. No, and obviously that's the next 2 opponents for we talked a little bit about Tennessee, but one more thing before we get into that. Tell me what you think about what's happening down at Texas with Arch Manning coming into the game. Obviously, you know, Quinn going down. It's an oblique injury, so no telling how long. Sometimes those take a little while to get over with. Do you think the longer, if he stays out a couple of weeks, he loses this job?
No, look, the fans are going to love Arch Manning, right? But Sark's making the decision. Texas right now, and down the road a couple years, who knows? Arch may end up being better than Quinn. I don't know. But right now, the best chance for Texas to win a national championship is for Quinn Ewers to be the quarterback and operate this offense. Now, when I look at this Texas team, I think something, Jason, and that, you know, some people are talking about, but not enough, is the reason this Texas team has been able to elevate and why I'm not worried about Quinn being out a couple weeks, not just because it's Law Monroe. Shout out to my guy, Brian Vincent. Yeah. And then you got a Mississippi State team that's in a rebuild. Is Texas has made that jump at the line of scrimmage. That's where they've solidified themselves as being able to stay at that elite level. The O-line and the D-line, right? Because that was the knock on Texas. It wasn't skill guys. Right? Texas has had skill guys. It was up front, right? It was being able to you know, win rock fights, right? Get some fence biters up there. And I think that's where Texas, and that's where you bridge the gap, right? Why did Bama win so much? Yeah, they had great skill players. They were just way better than you up front and deeper. Why did Georgia do the same thing? Why did Michigan win a national championship? Because of the line of scrimmage. I think that's where, you know, the game will always be won and lost there, whether it's Friday Night Tykes or the NFL, whether you run the triple option or the air raid. This is a game that is won and lost at the line of scrimmage. And that's where Texas and Sark knows this better than anybody. That's where they've really made the biggest jump, I think.
They had to. And I think that, you know, he talked a lot about that, you know, over the last year or so, that where where they were on the offensive line was ridiculous.
Mhm.
I think Tom Herman was a pretty good coach. I think that he neglected the hell out of the offensive line. I think that's clear. The defensive line, I'm not as sure that I believe as much in that because they haven't been tested as much this year. We'll see what happened as we go along when they run up against somebody like OU and then Georgia and in back-to-back weeks. But as far as the rest of it goes,
let me ask you this. I mean, Michigan isn't great offensively, but let's not act like Oklahoma's offensive line is going to test you. I mean, they haven't been very good. They got pushed around by Houston, who's awful. So
the offensive line hasn't been so far because the offensive line has definitely been. You've got a lot of guys that have been out. You're looking like to get these guys back, and hopefully you get them healthy for the rest of the year. And they've definitely looked better from week to week. But I agree with you. That's been the problem. But the thing is like, what are they going to be able to? Are they going to be able to run the ball, and are they going to be able to play? If that offense does get going at OU, what are they going to do against their skill guys and stuff? And if they start getting moving, and with Taylor Tatum, but they definitely are going to have to run the ball. That's the main thing you're going to have to see out of OU this week, I think, too.
Oh, without a doubt,
stop the run and they got to run the ball. Yeah, those are the two things that they really got to get done. And even if it's with Jackson Arnold, you got to do it. You got to run the football and be dangerous and not just be one-dimensional. And then, of course, you have to shut down the run for Tennessee. If you do that and you put Nico in a blender, which they will, because if they're one-dimensional, they're going to tee. You know how Brent Venables is. He's going to bring it from everywhere. They've been base this whole way, and they're only giving up 2.2 yards per carry, but they haven't really blitzed much, and they're still looking pretty good. I think this is going to be a fun-ass week at Norman. This is going to be a great football game.
It's going to be a great atmosphere. Here's the thing, though. I think there's a common misconception about what Tennessee does offensively. People think they go fast to just tire you out. That's not the main reason they do it. That's a positive side effect of it. When you go fast like that, the defense can't disguise anything. You don't have time to creep guys. You don't have time to manipulate guys, and then they look to the sideline, and then you check out of it. You've got to show your cards. That's the main thing, and it's like doing math without the letters in it, right? It's not like algebra. You take your time. It's algebra. You can show different things. You really can't do that against it. So I'm interested to see what Brent and them do, because it limits your ability to do multiple things, and they do catch you in base a lot, which makes it easier because that's what they've gone against all week in practice. But you hit the nail on the head. This Tennessee team wants to run the ball, just like Lincoln Riley wants to run the ball, just like Sark wants to run the ball, just like Lane wants to run the ball. It is a run-to-pass team, and they've been very successful at it. And then they use the wide Art Briles splits, to create that space in the quick game to spit the ball out. So whatever the best plan of action defensively to go up against this style of system, Brent's going to employ it. You're just limited in what you can do because of the way Tennessee operates, right? And it's not that they have 2 or 3 plays they can run when they're going fast. They have a whole Waffle House menu of things that they can do. So I'm interested to see it. I'm interested to see, and this is what I talked about during the offseason. Some Oklahoma fans were like, "Oh, that's not true. It's not going to happen." And the same ones that are messaging me like, "Oh, wow, you were right. It's going to take a little bit of time for a brand new quarterback and a shuffling offensive line that is, yes, beat up, but still, if they were all healthy, these guys have played before, but not together. That takes time. You got to build chemistry, just like a quarterback and a wide receiver. So I feel like Oklahoma has got to play a lot.
Has been as much as anything as the wide receiver room. They've 5 of their top 6 receivers are out or have been out. Now you're going to get Nick Anderson back, which is huge, but I also think
that's exactly right. But I don't think
part of it was also that Jackson got a little bit of happy feet. They've been better on the O-line in the last 2 weeks. They have, but there's been times as you looked at Jackson, especially in the Houston game. He was running out of clean pockets, man. He really was.
He's a young guy.
That's the thing. I think that you have to let him go through his.
You do.
He definitely has to go through his own little deal, and I think he's shown that. Like last week, he was doing a great job of getting the ball out quick, and not just throwing it quick, but also he's throwing the ball to the spot that's going to be open before the receiver's in the break, and the receiver's turning and the ball's there. That's the sign of a quarterback figuring it out.
No, y'all have got a dude like down the road. Jackson is going to be nice. If I was an Oklahoma fan, I would not be worried about Jackson Arnold's ability to be a good player. But it's just like with any young quarterback, right? And I think that's
Like
why
Nico.
it's going to be interesting to see Nico in this environment on the road after really only playing in a neutral site game in Charlotte, which you could say 60-40, whatever, because you're having to go to their state. You got to ride the wave with these young guys. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. But you can definitely see with both of them the talent that's there and the ability to run the ball. It's just being able to understand that, hey, there's some games where I'm really going to have to sit in this pocket and trust what's in front of me instead of trying to force what's in front of me. Because in high school, you can get away with that because you're better than pretty much everybody else. You see this move into college, and then you see it to the NFL. It's a learning process, and you've got to go through taking those lumps. And you just hope that you can win those games where you don't play great. And so far, that both of them have done that. I didn't think, Nico played great against NC State, but they're able to just run the ball at will.
Well, yeah,
and that's the best way.
They have like 400 yards against them or something like that?
They're ripping off. I mean, the run game is that's their bread and butter right now.
Well, yeah, Dylan Sampson's running. He's got 8 yards of carry right now, and 9 touchdowns. Shit.
Yeah,
it's
been a good time so far to be a running back in that offense.
No doubt. And that's what Josh does very well. Very well. Is he's the guy that has taken that classic air raid, veer and shoot, whatever you want to call it, and turned it into a run first machine that's and really gotten it done. He's done a great job at that. I think that they're going to see some things, and I think if they can shut down the run, which is it's an if, but here's the thing about Oklahoma that is why, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you still feel pretty good about them this year. First off, you get to play everybody that's ranked ahead of you, so you get to prove it on the field. But the biggest part is they're deep on the defensive line. They're running on the interior.
Starting to look like a Brent Venables team, huh?
Right,
you're starting to see it, and that's what we wanted.
Man, you had R. Mason Thomas go off for 3 sacks. He had 3 tackles, 3 sacks, and they were and he had a pass breakup also last week. And we've been waiting on this guy for a couple of years. He's showing, and there's a bunch of those dudes like that. So the good news is and the secondary is nice too. They're good all the way through. With Danny Stutzman, give him the damn All-American honors right now because he's there.
Yeah, he's I just love watching him play. It's going to be fascinating to again in this game, even with even boxes. Is it something where Nico says, "All right, Danny," which he's going to be, is in the middle. We're going to spit it out. Like we're going to try and play keep away from Danny Stutzman and make guys tackle in space. That's why, again, like it's just funny. The first year Brent was there, he just didn't have the cats, right? Athletically, defensively, you guys would give up explosive plays.
Once they had a couple of injuries, one of them being to
one of them, and now the cupboard,
but they're full now.
The cupboard is full defensively. So this is a great matchup. The storylines and all that stuff is great. Heupel coming back to Oklahoma. And this is why I said, Jason, that a lot of people were pissed during the conference expansion, like, oh, we're going to lose some of these peripheral rivalries. I was like, yes, but we're also going to gain some. Like it's like an Isaac Newton situation, right? Like mass can either be created or destroyed. That's the only thing I remember from that class. Like you're going to get new rivalries that replace the old ones. So therefore we're kind of even, and everybody's still going to play everybody home and away over a 4-year schedule. That's why I liked it. And I'm so interested to see the rivalries that get created.
Well, yeah. And I think that this one's kind of proven to be, I think it's kind of coming together on its own without any help from me. I don't think those are the best rivalries, or when they're just, they're organic,
baby. That's how it needs to happen.
Tennessee is doing their best to make an ass of themselves. Their fans are nuts. And I think the entire SEC is kind of like that, to be honest. It's
that's
fun.
why y'all fit in, Jason, because y'all are nuts too. That's why I said, it's welcome to the asylum. We'd open the gates. We open the gates for y'all. Y'all are as nuts as we are.
No doubt, man. Because Oklahoma fans, they do get in their feels, man. They do get in their feels. And
it's fan is short for fanatical, right? But that's the only way you can survive in this league. You can't come in here and be like, well, if we win, great. No. The only way that you can survive and win in this league is you've got to be as crazy as everybody else, right? It's who eats first in the asylum, typically the craziest one. So that's just the nature of the beast, man. This is the ecosystem. That's why it just means more.
It just means more. Yeah, no doubt, man. I think it's going to be a great game. I think
It
the
will
main
be.
thing, like I said, if you can, as much as we want to make it about OU's defense against Nico or whatever you want to call it, I think it's just as much that OU's offense has to be a little bit better this week. They have to move the ball. You can't have 3 and outs. You're going to have to go out there and put some drives together, put some points on the board. I think if you can get on the board early for Oklahoma and you can get them out of their tempo or whatever it is by, shut down a couple of them. If you can shut down the run early on and make them be one-dimensional, then you got a chance. And then
let's not forget special teams.
You got to make Nico beat you is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and let's not forget special teams. This just smells like one of those games, right? Because look, special
Close
teams
game.
Field position, like who's pinning who inside the 10. I'm just this is a quality matchup, and you have you're looking at the future is what you're looking at with these two quarterbacks. So that's another cool element as well. These are two guys that are going to continue to elevate their game, and I would not be shocked if next year at the end of the year there are 2 Heisman finalists that end up going to have a chance to win it in New York. I would not be surprised.
A lot of talent, man. A lot of talent.
Have
a lot of talent, man. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. What other games you looking at this week that you like?
Man, there's so many that the big ones and the quote unquote smaller ones. I think Georgia Tech Louisville is going to be a hell of a game. I don't think enough people are talking about that. Obviously, USC going to Michigan, and Michigan's not great offensively, but they are physical, right? That's the one thing, and I want to see if this USC team, and look, scheme is one thing, and y'all know this better than anybody. Alex Grinch knew what cover 1 was. He knew to tell guys who to cover and where to line up, but adopting a physical identity is the most important part that a defensive coordinator can have the impact on his team. And Alex Grinch wasn't doing that. Against LSU, USC, to me, looked like they wanted the smoke. They wanted the physicality. They set the tone. It's a mindset thing. So was that just one game, or is this who they are now?
Yeah, I think we're going to. Is LSU really that good? Is the other question.
Well, they've got guys up front, but again, it's not about good, but it's about physical. Like it's the eye test of me watching USC tackle, me watching them rally to the ball, swarm to the ball, disengaging guys, because LSU's got 3 NFL players on that offensive line. They haven't been as great as what some people thought, but they got 3 NFL guys. I want to see if this.
They're good as far as the offensive line and stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm looking at, because that's USC's bugaboo. Like, can they be physical on defense? And I think D'Anton Lynn, and that's why this weekend is so important. We're going to know, is this an identity, or was that a flash in the pan because it was game 1 and y'all wanted to really lay it to LSU?
And LSU's kind of soft, man. I don't know. I think LSU's a little soft.
They haven't dominated physically. The defense, they kind of reverted back to what we saw a little bit last year against South Carolina.
What the hell is Harold Perkins playing in the damn middle of the line? I put that son of a bitch on the edge.
Well, what they should have done is put 20 pounds on him and made him 245 and let him stand up on the end of the line of scrimmage. You ain't making the league as a 215-pound pass rusher. That ain't how it goes in that league. But I'm just from not that I think Michigan's great. I mean, Orji can't throw the ball 10 yards down the field and complete it. I just want to see if that physicality is who they are, or were they lying to us week 1? That's what I want to see. But all across the board, Jason, I mean, Friday night, Nebraska, Illinois. I think Nebraska is going to cover because Illinois can't stop the run. But man,
about a freaking game where it's going to be a freaking knife fight. They're just going to be in a phone booth.
Bielema and Rule, come on now. That's just some good old fashioned family fun.
Hey, right? That's one of those games that's old school as it gets right there, because the first one to put the ball in the air is a pussy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Love those kind of games. No, and then, I think the SC game, I think that's the biggest question that we've all had. I mean, is Oklahoma, we watched them get softer. But, we watched them get softer under Lincoln and Grinch and who we called the yoga instructor. They still got the yoga instructor around, but I think the D'Anton Lynn, along with Matt Ince, I think that was huge for them. And I don't know that they didn't find their next head coach or whatever with Matt Ince when they were doing that too, if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But we got to, and I think, you got to see them sustain it first. But
that's the question.
they've definitely
right?
looked good so far, though. They definitely looked good in that game, and it's what you – I just don't know where they are depth-wise. And the way they've been recruiting, I think it's going to be tough to really get the defensive guys in there that you really want to get if you are dancing in,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're hearing a lot of different things from people out there, but it is what it is, man. That everybody thinks their team is perfect and not ever going to
Without a doubt, man. That's what makes it fun.
Right. So how are you going to handicap this thing? Who's going to win it?
Talking about USC or Tennessee?
The SEC. We're just, if we're looking at it right now, who do you like the most right now?
I'm worried about Georgia's ability to, and people will talk about giving up some of the run against Kentucky, and I get that. But just like I don't worry about Lincoln Riley offensively, I don't worry about Kirby Smart defensively with some of the players that Georgia has and the depth they have. What worries me about Georgia is their lack of ability, is the lack of ability to hit explosive plays, right? And you're not going to be able to consistently, even if you're Georgia, go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives down the field and score. Last year, it was Ladd McConkey playing off Brock Bowers, then Dylan Bell would hit you, right? We haven't seen those explosive plays down the field. And with their schedule, you're not going to get through the Bamas and Texases and Ole Misses if you can't hit explosive plays. So right now, you look at Texas, and they've got to continue to prove it. But I don't think it'd be crazy to say that they're probably in the lead right now. But I look at Ole Miss, man, and I picked them to make the SEC championship game before the year. And I know the schedule hasn't been tough. Wake Forest, isn't somebody that scares you to death. I just, I feel like this Ole Miss team, from a balance standpoint, and they finally have some depth on that defensive line. And when you watch the tape, like, they are violent. Like, they are very, very violent
in
the front seven. I like Ole Miss. And Georgia's worrying me a little bit offensively, but I mean, Kirby's done nothing but recruit Blaze, Laser, Taser, and Blazer and everybody for the last 5 years. So knowing those guys, they'll figure it out. It's going to be fun, man. We're going to know a lot more over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
No doubt, man. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in and spending some time with this, man.
Always,
where are you gonna
buddy.
Be this weekend? Are you going to a game this weekend?
I'm going to be in front of my TV watching the multi-view, where I can go grab my own beer and go to the bathroom whenever I want and let my animals freak out around me. But we may be having a little special road trip for Georgia Bama. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. But yeah, man, excited for you guys in Norman this weekend. Welcome to it.
Real quick though, before you go, what about next week with the Auburn game, Oklahoma coming to Auburn? What are your expectations there? Obviously, Jordan-Hare is a tough place to play at.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play. It'll be Jackson's first SEC road start. I've got to see Hank Brown against Arkansas this week. I mean, you can't really tell that much against New Mexico, just because the pocket was really clean. I mean, Auburn, the talent advantage, even with Cam Coleman not playing. I want to see, too, how Oklahoma does injury-wise in this game against Tennessee. So handicapping it right now, I would like Oklahoma probably by – I wouldn't be afraid to take them by a field goal, maybe even 4. But I need to see a little bit this weekend because there's so many unknowns right now, really in both places, I think. So let's see how it rolls this weekend, and I don't know, maybe we can talk about it next week.
Let's talk about it next week for sure.
All right,
man.
buddy.
Thanks a lot for coming on, Jake.
Hey, anytime, Jason. You know that.
See you later, bro. All right, man.
See you.
Jake Crain from Crain & Company. Appreciate him coming in. As always, if you're not already a subscriber there, you should definitely be over there checking them out there. I hit 150,000 subscribers, he said. That's pretty badass. Someday I'd like to be there. We'll see how it goes. But listen, guys, I think that you're hearing a lot of the same stuff that we continue to hear. That when you start talking about what is this Oklahoma football team, there is some stuff that's up in the air. Are they going to get there? Are they not? You don't know. And I think that it's what Jake said is fair. You're definitely heard less than what you've heard from a lot of folks from around the SEC, even though, Kyle, I know you don't like him much. But I hit the guest spots this week. I like it, man. Jake's a good dude, man. He's one of my favorites. So I love their show. They do a great job. He tells it like it is. He's been a coach in this league too. So, You know, I liked having guys like him and High Top and those guys around Professor. You know, hey man, I've said to you guys for a long time that I get some of the better guests, you know, on this show as far as being able to get these guys. But yeah, absolutely, JB, no doubt about that. And even he said, I mean, and he's an Auburn guy, so for him to say he would take OU right now, it tells you that he doesn't think much of Auburn. And I know he did more at the first of the year. He had some hope going on there for what they were going to look like. But I think that, you know, I think OU's got a good chance this weekend. And, you know, we can just kind of go through some of the things and some of the things that I've been saying. And really, first off, it's just the track record that Venables has against these guys. When he's got his, and, you know, Jake was talking about it there, now they're loaded up. They do have depth. Competitive depth has been the drinking game, and we can do it now. And shout out to Buc-ee's. Competitive depth has been the key word for Oklahoma fans and for him for sure since he got there. So he's going to disguise a lot of coverages. I think, you know, I think that Jake was talking about because of their speed not being able to do that. I don't see that as the same thing. I think that you can disguise a lot of things because they're more positionless in the back seven than probably anybody else. You've got linebackers that could be playing safety and even corner. I mean, if you look at what Peyton Bowen is, he could play corner easy. You know, he could definitely do it. Chances are that you get Gentry back here in the next week or two. That would be huge. But you're seeing some of these other guys stepping up too. You really are. And again, they've been super vanilla on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to be in a base. They were in a base set for the entire 3 games. I think you're going to see some things in this game that you hadn't seen for sure. And they got to go shut down the run. If they can shut down the run game, and they have so far, 2.2 yards a carry, if they can stay on that pace or even just a little above that pace, I think that you're going to see them get one-dimensional, and that's when you start getting him off his timing probably, because you send blitzes from different areas that he's not expecting them to come from. And, you know, if they're moving fast, he also isn't going to have as much time to read the field either. So there's 2 parts to that. You know, you can say that you have to stay base and you have to show what your cards are, but not necessarily. You can make it look a certain way, and then, you know, at the snap of the ball, it changes. We've seen him do it. If they do that, that limits what Nico's going to be able to do. He hasn't been perfect. You know, he's thrown a couple of interceptions himself. But he's also had a clean pocket for most of the time. And we know for sure that's not going to be the case in this game. You're not going to throw from a clean pocket. If the key offensive line, if you get a guy like Jake Taylor even back, or if hopefully Hickman's going to be back this week, that's going to create stability up front that is going to kind of help everything take off on the offensive side for OU. I think that Nick being back in the game is huge for the receiver room. It's huge for the receiver room. I think that you start getting an idea of what the, you know, there's no question on who the hierarchy is at that point once he gets back in there. Maybe for the third guy, but to be honest with you, I think that he's going to step up there, and you can kind of fit guys in as needed, and I think that they will. Nick's a big deal because he's going to force you to not try to double up on anybody else. Along with those tight ends that they've been using very well, I think that they're probably as much of an X factor in this game as anybody else. But with Nick coming back, it's definitely going to make it even better. It's just they're making them a little more than what they were. They were really one-dimensional because of the fact that he just didn't have a lot of trust in those receivers, I don't think. But I think that just getting that second guy off of Deion Burks is going to open up the deep passing game. And that's what you really have to do in order to even – look, sometimes you got to set up the run by throwing the ball deep. Right now, they've just been throwing everything really short and intermediate so they can keep guys up around the box, and they're not – and it kind of keeps everything in front of them still because they're not trying to go deep. I think that was by design, a lot of that. And then the other part of it too was that they were able to kind of bracket Deion Burks, and he didn't always make the greatest decisions on the routes that he ran either. We'll see a lot of that change, I think, this week. I do think that if they can contain the Tennessee run game, it's just job number one. If OU does that, OU's going to have a chance to win this game. Defensively, they're going to give themselves a chance to win this game. I think it's going to come down to probably which quarterback makes the mistake first or the worst mistake at the wrong time. If they're in this game in the fourth quarter, I love their chances to win. If they're within even if they're within a touchdown, I'm going to love their chances to win. But I also think they could be way out ahead in this game. They could turn this thing ugly quick if they stop the run. They could, because they are number one in the country in turning over people. We know that. And if they can disguise these things and get him to throw into some, tight windows that maybe it looked a little more open than it was, you're going to have a chance. Shout out to Buc-ee's, a South Lake, Texas, or a Lake Jackson, Texas company. Dude, Buc-ee's is the shit. We love Buc-ee's. Let's see what we got here. When OU is going into the fourth quarter, they have to play How Do You Like Me Now? It'd be kind of good, right? The chat has turned into a Buc-ee's documentary. Yeah, Buc-ee's. You guys have been talking about Buc-ee's since I said shout out to Buc-ee's. I hadn't sent a bunch of that lately. That's good stuff. Yeah. Buc-ee's is so awesome though, dude. They're freaking brisket sandwiches. Man, I'll just go over there and load them suckers up for the ride. Yeah. It's not the only way you turn it. The other way you stay in it is to score some points. You got to get out there and score some points. If you can get out there and put some points on the board in your first drive or two, you're going to be on your way. Feed off of each other, feed off the crowd. Oklahoma's got a chance here. They're not in danger of being blown out, Cole. I don't see that. I don't see a blowout happening here. I just don't see it. Yes, absolutely. That's when, hey, listen, this is when, if you do that first, second, and third objective, like JB says, if you can get that part done, that's when everything else kind of feeds off of that, though. No doubt about it. Because if they can't get out of freaking first gear, what are they going to do? You can try to go fast, but I think that's the other thing. Oklahoma's been seeing this kind of offense for a long time. They've seen it for a while. We've talked about it before. This is the exact same thing that Levy was running. So they saw it in practice for the last 2 years. Maybe not the same speed, but that doesn't always, it doesn't always work out that great. I'm telling you that I think that this defense is definitely good enough to shut them down. They've got a lot of good skill players. I think you have it. It's going to take the best performance that you've had as far as your defense is concerned. But I think that the defense has a lot that they didn't show. We're going to get a lot out of them. I tell you that as long as you stay healthy on the defensive side of the ball, or, at least healthy enough that you're not losing a bunch of guys, I think you're going to be in every game. I really do. And I think that this offense is going to get better from week to week. Saw what for a while and couldn't stop it. That offense, come on, don't act like this is the same. Zach, don't act like this is the same defense that has been around. It's not. They held a team that got 500 yards the week before on a top 25 team and should have won the game. They held them to under 300 total yards. They made that young quarterback pretty much a non-factor. So, and got him to turn it over. Bottom line is you better be able to run the football. If you can't run the football on them and they're only giving up 2.2 yards per rush, then what are you going to do? I'm not telling you that it's going to be an easy win. I'm telling you they're winning, though. Oklahoma's going to win this game. A la bookies. Yeah, special teams will be big. $25 QBR. Who for? For Nico? Possibly. Oklahoma's going to win the game. They're going to win the game. You heard it here first. They're going to win the game. I just the way that it sets up, I just don't see a way that they're going to come into Norman and win. Who score? Well, they've been pretty good. Yeah, it's not crazy. It isn't crazy. You're right. Well, I was trying to get tickets, man, but I haven't found anything that's like, it's too expensive. I'd love to go. I mean, I would be able to go. I just don't have tickets. I've been thinking about going anyway, so. It is. I think it's going to be a lot. I think it is going to be a good game. I also think that, they could turn it. Oklahoma could turn this thing crazy too. People are talking about Oklahoma getting blown out. I think they could blow anybody else out. When you start turning people over the way that they can, and particularly you're going to see some things that they haven't seen before. I think that I would be surprised if they can turn this game into Nico's got to beat you if it didn't get out of hand. Because I don't know that he can do it. They've got some good receivers. You were talking. They've got Squirrel White. I like him. In fact, he's not even leading the team though. They've got a nice receiving core. But again, I don't know. They're definitely not going to be running free in the secondary like they were against Kent State or against UT Chat or even against NC State. They're not. So, and he's not going to be throwing from a clean pocket like that. So I think you're going to learn a lot about both teams this week a lot. I definitely think, and I think that you're going to continue to see Oklahoma get better on the offensive side, but I think the defensive side is only started, is only kind of scratched the surface on what they're going to be this year. And they're already really good, right? That's the one thing you got to, game is just like Texas and Michigan. Well, good. So Oklahoma's going to go light them up. Defense is not going to be tired by halftime, dude. All they got to do is go out there and do their job on the offensive side. And what would you say whenever all these guys if these guys all come back on the offensive line and Nick coming back? It's not the same thing. And you're acting like they haven't gotten better week to week. You're acting like they haven't gotten better week to week, and they have. They're accustomed to the feeling. You're not wrong. That's what Coach was talking about last night. In pressure situations, they usually don't win. They usually don't win. They all talk. The ones that do talk about that they're not saying that they're blowing out anybody. I've heard PTSD from them a ton because that's kind of what Tennessee has given Vols fans for 20 years plus, man. Really. And B, we trust. And I do too, man. That's the other thing. Man, I don't worry about the offense at all. You guys have heard me say this. I'm not worried about this offense. I believe they're going to do their thing. Hey, man, thank you, Rob Hill. Pay them tickets. Hey, man, if I could, I would definitely do it, man. Thank you, man. I'm looking at it. I may do that. If I can. I was asking, Coop said he might be able to help me get a ticket, and if not, maybe K Chris. So I gotta give K Chris a yell here in a little bit and see how I think that the O-line is looking like you might end up with at least Branson Hickman back, which would be huge, right? We've heard about a couple of other guys that might be coming back as well, but I think Branson Hickman is coming back for sure. That helps a ton. Hey, thanks, man. Are you talking to me or you gonna be there? You going up there, dude? You got some tickets? What's up? Who's got some tickets? Battered Vols syndrome. Brent Venables syndrome. I like it. Yeah, you were saying that the other day. Your wife broke her foot. Your dog had surgery? Damn. Did you sell your tickets already, Rob? Yard Work Warrior signing out. Billy, have a good day, man. We'll see you back in here on Friday for sure, unless I'm on the road getting out of here. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, for sure. Kyle, if I can get there, I'm going to be there. Cool. Well, let me know if you find something good, and I'll I don't think payday was today because I looked earlier. I don't think it was, but if not, it'll be tomorrow. But I'll have to look. Oh, so thanks a lot for the super chat there, man. Appreciate that. All right. What else you got? What else? I think I'm gonna go ahead and get this dog out, feed him, get him walked so I can get to work. Man, this daytime job is starting to get to me a little bit. I'm starting to get my bearings back, but I worked overnight for a long time, man. It was wild. Got a thing to get done before lunch and 30. Good to see you. Hey, Ryman, appreciate you, my man. Yep. Yeah, if you guys find anything good on tickets, let me know. And if you haven't already signed up for the Discord, you guys should definitely become a member to the channel and get in there and get on the Discord, man. And we're trying to get more people to vote in the poll. I'll definitely I'm working on trying to get. It's just I hadn't had time to do a bunch of damn graphics, and I really need to do more of them. But man, those shorts freaking kind of took up my time the other day. But I ended up getting like 9,000 views yesterday, just and not even including TikTok on YouTube. So that was actually pretty good for the channel. So I had those in talking to John a little bit from Bama Talk. Man, he was kind of helping me out with some of that the other night. So we're definitely looking at doing some more stuff and trying to get some more of that kind of stuff going. But we'll kind of preview this game again on Friday if I'm not on the road headed up there. And if so, I'll still be kind of checking in with you guys on what we're talking about. So we'll definitely do something. If not on Friday morning, then probably Thursday night. What we got? Yeah. Yeah, Tyler, you're not wrong. I think that listen. This is not. I don't care what anybody's saying. I don't care what anybody's saying either. Look. I understand them being excited about their team. They should be. They've got a really good quarterback that's going to be good for a while. He's definitely their guy. They got a nice running game too, and their defense isn't terrible. The back end of their defense would be a little worrisome for me if I was a Tennessee guy. And then look, the fact that this defense is going to bring it from all angles, it would worry me a little bit just having a young freshman type quarterback first year. They're talking about what he did against Iowa. Who cares? Nobody scores in the Big Ten, so it looked like their defense was better. And when you can't score, the dam will break at some point. I will say that Oklahoma's offense is important too. They've got to be able to move the football. And I think in order to be able to run the ball for OU, you may have to do it the opposite way. You may have to hit some deep shots to where they got to back out of the box. If you can do that, then you get the running game established that way. I don't care which order, just go do it. But explosive plays, being able to run the football, that could be as big as the lineman being back as well, is being able to get the ball down the field. That's all there is to it. Because if they got to get on their heels, then you're definitely going to be able to run the ball a little easier. They won't be able to keep 7, 8 guys in the box. You just won't be able to do it. I saw that too. Yeah. High ankle sprain for the left tackle. See, that's blood in the water right there, you know? Definitely. Mm-hmm. Everybody does. Both programs do, but we got Brent Venables in this defense that's loaded all the way out too. I'm just telling you, we know what we've seen out of them, and I get it. I like your defense too. I don't love your defense on the back end. And the thing is Oklahoma, they're getting some guys back that it should help them a lot. I'm telling you, getting Nick Anderson back is going to be big. You're definitely going to get that secondary tested in a way that you haven't up to this point, for sure. Yeah, we'll see. You're going to keep making money on Tennessee until Vegas gets their lines right? Well, if you're making money on Tennessee, then you're going to be betting against them this week, buddy. Yeah. Who are you asking, Tyler? Me? I'm in New Mexico, but like basically in Texas, West Texas area. I can be there in about 7 hours just by car, but I'm not too worried about that. This is the thing. This is not a new offense. This is not a new offense for anybody that's been in this program. They've seen it a lot. Neilio, what's up, my guy? Man, you just missed your favorite guy, Jake Crain. Welcome into the show. Thank you for the super chat. Good Wednesday morning, Mr. Jason. Hey, everyone. Really? Where are you at? I'm in where are you at, Rob? You in West Texas? Shit. Yeah, it's too bad. Man, it really does suck about Gibson going down. He was getting ready to have a breakout year, it felt like, right? Andrell and Nick could be good. If Andrell's back, that's great. If Andrell's back, that's awesome. I haven't heard that. You're in Albuquerque. My daughter lives in Albuquerque. Heck yeah. Very cool. Yeah, about 8 hours. Yeah. I'm down in Hobbs, though. But it's not that far to get there. Yeah. That's your boy. I knew you. I was like, man, where the hell's Neilio? I figured you'd be in here. I've been thinking about doing that too, man. The ticket costs are so much, but I got to get a hold of K. Chris here in a few minutes and see if maybe he's got it. So, man, I appreciate it. Is Andrell for sure back? That's what you're hearing. I've been hearing it, but I hadn't heard like a solid yes for sure. But that's good. I'm hearing some good things about the possibility on the linemen too. I think they're going to be in good shape. And again, I only think they have to make a few little tweaks and they're going to be back in business on offense. This is not, this isn't Seth Luttrell's first rodeo. He knows what he's doing. I know that people want to try to put it off on him. That's not the fact. That's not the case. I think that a lot of things have conspired to have them sputter a little bit, but nothing has looked like it's unfixable for Oklahoma. Nothing. you got to go through some of this stuff as a young guy. Jake was talking about that. You do have to go through some of these growing pains as a young quarterback, especially when you have issues on the line and then you're losing you without a guy like Nick Anderson. Come on. Dude, it would be awesome if and that's the thing that sucks. Your guys that have a lot of experience are the ones that are out, and Nick's got one good year of experience, but Andrell's been a really good receiver for a couple years. He's got a couple years, and look at Farouk. This is why he's a senior, and he's been showing flashes over the last few years, getting better and better. So I think he was going to be a big part of it as well. Him and Jaden Gibson. It sucks that they're both out, and hopefully Farouk makes it back this year. But we'll kind of wait and see how it works out for him. But I like him. I think that overall they're definitely going to be. Oh, looky there, Numbnuts comes in just to get kicked right out. Boom. Oh, Numbnuts, dumbass.
Oh, dumbass.
Hey man, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. You gonna be there in Norman this weekend, or are you just watching from home? See, that's the question for me, Rob, too, is he gonna be okay? On the mental side, it's just you have to trust it to be able to make those cuts and stuff like that. And maybe he's got there, and maybe they've just been holding it back. I think that's what they've been doing with Nick. NIL checks not catching. Oh, come on, man. They cash them suckers. They'd be a lot better. That's funny. Yeah, I think so. If he's going to play, we'll see. And I forgot they do have to do the injury report thing in the SEC now. They've been talking about that. I forgot about that. Should he? Numbnuts? Hey, Numbnuts. It's got to be something like that, or what are you talking about? And dumbass? Well, I did, Ed. Look.
Oh, dumbass.
That's his. They hadn't played anybody at Go Dogs 84. I know everybody loves that offense or whatever, but they haven't seen the defense like what's about to be coming at them. Would you be worried about them if you were playing them this week? Because Oklahoma's got a defense pretty damn similar to UGA's. Mm-hmm. And I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think that Nico's gonna have a tough day. If they can't run the football like they have been, they're gonna have a long day. That's how you win it. That's how you win it, folks. Shut down the run. The rest of it ought to take care of itself. Be quite honest with you. I think the rest of it will take care of itself. But all right, fellas, I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, the go fast for a while now. That's right. All right. Let me see. Well, I got to find some new stuff, no doubt. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure you get in there and check out our official show merchandise, hofmedia.us/pod-merch. You can definitely save money on your data or your wireless service, unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45 for 3 months. If you go through Mint Mobile, it's trymintmobile.com/HOF. That's $15 a month, unlimited talk, text, and data. I made the switch myself, and I'm saving $1,600 this year. It's a great deal with Mint Mobile. Go check it out. 3 months, it's no harm, no foul. If you don't end up liking it, you get to use the same phone that you have now. You don't have to switch carriers at the moment. Use the same phone, test it against each other, see what's best for you. Definitely helps out the show, but save you a lot of money if you take a look at it. If you're looking for your team's gear, whatever your team may be, you can go to our Fanatics partner store. It's hofmedia.us/fanatics, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Get in there and check out official team merchandise, officially licensed team apparel. Best prices that you're going to get on Fanatics. I just ordered some new stuff today. In fact, that jersey or that sweater is going to be here. Obviously, it's not really sweater season yet, but I loved it. So I went ahead and picked that up. Good stuff, man. The great deals on there. Right now, they were doing 25% today, so it was definitely a good deal. Going through our link, hofmedia.us/fanatics. The main way to help us and the free way to help us is just make sure you hit that like button. Become a subscriber if you would. We'd love to get over that 4,000 mark. We're just a couple hundred away from 4,000. We'd love to hit that here in the next week or so. That'd be great. But hey, guys, we appreciate it. Yeah, do it with Mint Mobile. Definitely, it's a big deal. It really, I had Verizon, saving a lot of money, and the service is actually better where I'm at. So, look, it's a great deal. It's the largest 5G network in the country. You're actually using the T-Mobile's network, so you get all that stuff for way less than the cost of big wireless. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. We'll see you probably here in the next – we'll be definitely doing some stuff over the next couple of days, getting ready for this game. It's a big game this weekend. I'm excited for it. I know you guys are as well. As we get more information about some of these definitely as we get more information about some of these injuries and stuff, we'll be updating you on that as well. I'm going to drop that link in the description to jump over there. Get onto our Discord. You can even become a free member to the Discord. We'd love to have you. We'd like to have everybody voting in our poll every week. If you become a member of the Discord, you can definitely go in there and vote in the poll. We've got a free area to where you can get into it that way, but the best way to do it is just become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia for as low as $2.99 a month. That gives you full access to Discord. I think you'll love it. We'll do some more stuff with it. We're adding stuff all the time, and we love doing this content for you. I appreciate everybody coming in and spending part of your morning with me. We will see. Hey, T-Boomer, thank you very much. Appreciate you, all you guys coming in. Might see me on Friday for a bit. Flying out to Salt Lake. Yeah, nice. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a great game. It's going to be a nice little game. Hey, man, BYU's actually better than I thought they were, huh? I still don't love their quarterback situation, but they've looked better. But I think that K-State's probably going to win that one. Yeah, I like the way K-State looks right now. They definitely look really good. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate everybody coming in. See you all on the next one. Yeah, horns down.
The brand has finally returned. F*** your brand.